Hi, love. Hello, and welcome to Co-Creative Healing Journey. My name is Greta. I am a healer, and I post spiritual content here on the channel intended to serve you in your journey of spiritual growth and evolution. And today's reading is one such reading. We are going to turn to Spirit. We're going to pass the mic to Spirit and ask for some teaching, some guidance, some perspective, whatever Spirit wants to share with us today. And we've got an overall energy of belief with number 11. Now, 11 is a master number in numerology, which represents a lot of things higher awareness, connection to the higher self. It can also represent mastery over our energy. So we're going to see where this goes. It says the frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. So this is spiritual connection. This is really interesting. This is a really interesting reading. Spirit wants to talk to you about your spiritual connection and how it is real and it is strong and it is present and how you can believe in it more. And belief being especially a process of explanation and interpretation, right? So how to work your spiritual connection so that you're making sense of your experience. You're explaining it and you are interpreting it according to spiritual truth. Beautiful. Ah, that one popped up, okay. And here we have the second one. So, we've got relaxation and concentration. Wow, okay. And it's so interesting because we usually make them those opposing energies. So very feminine, masculine, and we make them relaxation the opposite of concentration. But concentration can actually be really relaxing when you're in the zone. And relaxation can be very concentrated depending on what you're doing, right? And it's about with belief here. It's about what do you believe that your spiritual connection can bring to your life. And what Spirit wants to tell you is that following your spiritual connection, allowing it a much bigger role in your life, is going to make your life a lot more easier, but also a lot more focused in the sense that you're going to be able to disregard a lot of things and then hone in on what is really important for you and true to you. One of the things the spiritual connection does really, 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 really well is tune out the noise. It's tune out the noise. And we live in a time when there is so much noise, so many different opinions. I was watching a video the other day about where those it's like a short, and this guy made a short where he's talking about how if you get offered a job straight away, then you have to say no because it's obviously a horrible workplace. Why did everybody else leave? And I saw it and I thought, oh, that's a good point. And then I looked in the comments, and there were all of these stories about people who were like, I was offered this job. It was the best job I ever had. And just talking about how there was a lot of people who are spontaneous and who follow their inner knowing and just know this person, not this, not that, and so on and so forth. And then I thought different. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. But in the beginning, I just really believed it. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. And it's like I am naive to a certain. I'm wise, but I'm also very naive, and I'm very quick to just believe people and believe the best in people and things like that. But the point is that there's a lot of noise. There's just a lot of opinions and a lot of things. And if something has a grain of truth, then it can affect you. You can believe it because there's a grain of truth. But what spiritual connection does is that it kind of weeds out all of the other things and only leaves truth. We've got Page of Swords. We've got the Hanged Man, Major Arcana number 12, Four of Pentacles, and we've got a Six of Wands. Nice. Page of Swords, not surprised to see it there. New ideas. What Spirit is saying is it's like it's time to start thinking in new ways about your spiritual connection. And wherever you are in your life, however well you're doing, and you think that it's going, or you experience that it is going, right? You're going to find that it's going to break you out of some form of hold. Wherever you are, if you're not fully listening to your spiritual connection, and we can always grow and evolve that, it doesn't mean that you're shut off or shut down. Spirit is just talking about taking it to the next level. So as you open up and you get these new ideas, a new way of thinking about spiritual connection, necessarily it's going to break you out of some form of hold, some form of limitation. With the Four of Pentacles, it's going to take you into, it's also going to affect your reality and how you experience your reality. It's going to lead to a much more stable, secure, grounded experience. That's really interesting because we don't always think of it in this way. And that's also the change, right? We think of spiritual connection as something that takes us out of the grounded, but Four of Pentacles is saying no, it's actually very practical. Your spiritual connection is intended to work very, very practically. To do what? Six of Wands, get you what you want, what you need, get you to triumph. And especially Six of Wands is a card of triumphing over the Five of Wands, over scattered energy, over resistance, over the noise. It's really going to allow you to center. You see how she's, look at that. to center, so that there's not, we're not getting pulled in all kinds of different directions, but spiritual connection just comes in. And Spirit, what does it do? Let's get more of that specifically, what you're talking about, that spiritual connection is going to do. We've done enough advertising. Here are the benefits of spiritual connection. Let's look. We've got the Empress. Well now. Eight of Wands. Two of Pentacles. Okay. And we've got the King of Pentacles. Exactly. Okay. This is kind of how it's intended to work. And it's about coming into a space where you're working your spiritual connection in that way. With the Empress here, this is Spirit saying you are an abundant being. You are a huge being. This is Major Arcana energy. So we're not talking about you as a personality. We're not just talking about you as your everyday self. We're talking about all the levels of your multidimensional being, your spiritual energy, your soul, your personality. All of that together adds up to the human being that you are. But you're very big. You're very abundant. You contain countless experiences. You've had so many experiences, right? And if we count a second, if we count a moment, how long is a moment? You just have countless moments, and of course beyond this life also. So you contain a tremendous amount of energy, which then is creative energy, and that can be used to create your life and to respond to your life and engage with your life and lead your life and just have you thrive in life in all kinds of different ways. What we mean by that is, for example, if you've got lots of stories to tell, then you are abundant. You can be at a dinner party, you can meet anybody and connect with them. You have lots of stories to tell. You're an abundant person. You know a lot of words. It's a form of abundance. You have even money, resources. That's a form of abundance. You have a lot of time, so you can be present. That's a lot of abundance. There's just all of these different ways in which we are abundant and resourceful. And it's that abundance and resourcefulness that activates our energy. With the Eight of Wands, it makes things happen. It puts out energy. And it directs that energy out into the world. With the Two of Pentacles, then the world shifts. Things happen and they shift according to the energy that we are putting in a situation, that we are putting in a circumstance, that we are putting out in the moment. We can then, with the King of Pentacles, take that energy and cultivate it. We can take the shifts, whatever is happening, whatever we have set into motion ourselves from our abundant self, from the core of our being, and what we need also to thrive and to exist in this world, not to thrive and exist, to thrive in this world, period. We set things into motion and shifts happen, then we can work those shifts consciously in order to get the most prosperity that we can out of it. It's kind of like what it's for. And so reality is not a finished tool. It's something that you can work in order to lead it into the fruition, into what you want it to be and how you want things to be. So what Spirit is saying is also, don't take anything ever at face value, that this is just the way that this is just the way that this circumstance is. No. It is it's like a premise. Whatever you find is a premise. It's what comes before. You can work it. You can create it. You can make it into whatever you want and need and deserve for it to be in order for you to thrive. Because Empress is also talking about birthright. You have the right to thrive in this world, and therefore you are given the means to work, situations, circumstances, conditions, everything you find in this world, you're given the means to work it into what you want it to be, into what you need it to be, what you deserve for it to be, so that you can thrive. We have Seven of Wands. Major Arcana number 11, Justice. Major Arcana number 9, the Hermit. And we've got the Queen of Swords. With the Seven of Wands, it is Mars in Leo energy, Leo ruling the heart. So we get this energy of following the heart, of courage, of taking up courage to fight for what matters, to pursue what matters. Again, this is not, or again, as I often say, this is not something that's easy to do, otherwise everybody would do it. But the Seven of Wands does talk about how this is something you need. It's like the homestead. You're at home in this energy. It's a part of who you are, right underneath the Empress. And so it's about not abandoning it. And what spiritual connection gives you is the knowing of how to do that, how to proceed, how to be courageous, how to make it happen. And very interesting, I never thought about it in this way, but that's why very often what spiritual connection gives us, kind of as guidance, as visions, as perspective, is something that is inherently courageous, because it is having us pursue what is good for our spirit in ways that have to transcend what goes on in the world necessarily, because what goes on in the world primarily is not in alignment. For example, if you have a relationship and that relationship is heart-centered and it is based in truth, then you don't need so much courage in that relationship. But if you have a relationship that is toxic and that unfolds in dysfunction, then you need a lot of courage in that relationship. You need more courage in the second one than in the first one. And so a spiritual connection is going to give you guidance and advice and direction that's a lot more courageous in the second instance than in the first one, because it's less aligned. So where you are, justice, it depends. Where things are the less aligned, there's dark, that's where you need the most transformation. Where things are light, you need less transformation. You're more at home with that. And so that's also why spiritual connection can feel very challenging, provoking is the word that's coming in, is because it tends to take us into the hard stuff, or rather we tend to notice it more when it takes us into the hard stuff because we're still being spiritually guided in the easy stuff. We just don't notice as much because it's not as jarring, right? So spiritual connection is still what tells us to say something nice, to offer a compliment, to stroke someone. It's just pleasurable. It's easy to do, especially in those connections, and it feels good. But if spiritual connection tells us to do the exact same thing in a difficult situation, be more loving, be more engaging, then we kind of get tense, and that's when we notice it. So we tend to associate it more with difficulty, but it's not that inherently it just is there to light the way. And we have here this stick that represents kind of the caduceus, which is a symbol of healing. And healing is moving into wholeness, moving into greater wholeness, well-being, balance, health. What is healthy, what is good for us. That's what spiritual connection does. It leads us towards what is going to be the best experience for us, what is going to be the most loving, most truthful, most wise, most empowering experience in response to, in respect of our true nature that is inherently loving, inherently wise, inherently powerful. When we are disempowered, then we are living out of alignment with our true nature. But when we're empowered, we're living in alignment with it. And alignment is better than disalignment. It feels better. It works better. It's better for us. It's more in alignment with the highest good. It aligns us with spiritual energy. All of the above. It does it all. It really does it all. And that's why we pursue it. at an inner level, not because it's better to be happy or sad inherently, not necessarily, but it doesn't feel the same way, right? And it's not as productive, and it's not as conducive to your spiritual energy flowing in the world, which is the if ever there was a goal, that's the goal, to be that spirit, to embody that spiritual energy. Some things are more conducive to that happening than others, and that's what spiritual connection does. It leads us towards what will let more of our spiritual being be embodied and lived out into the world. And that's the Queen of Swords. It's about clarity. Think about it, clarity. That's what we do here on the channel. We think about things with clarity, with grounding, in grounded ways and practical ways. And I love that Spirit brings it out in this way, because it can be that simple. It can be that straightforward. You don't have to become enlightened necessarily. You just have to listen to yourself more. And that's what it is from the Bible. Jesus, I was reading this book. What is it called? Zealot. Which is about Jesus, but it was explaining that when the word that Jesus uses in Aramaic for sin is a word that means misaim. So Jesus was going on around telling people, your aim is off. Hey, your aim is off. You're not aiming quite right. When he was saying you're sinning, hey, dude, your aim is off. Maybe more forcefully, dude, your aim is off. But he wasn't going around saying you're doing it wrong. You're not right. You're not this. You're not that. You're a sinner. It's like you're off. I really, really love that. But that's the point. It's like it's that kind of energy. It doesn't have to be so intense. Spiritual connection doesn't have to be this end all be all, the spiritual warfare between good and evil. It's a matter of getting you aligned and keeping you aligned so that you do the most good for yourself. So we've got vision upside down. No matter what, you see the bigger picture of a loving, just universe. Now, I put them upside down because then it's about the self. And then we've got willingness upside down. You are able to compromise if the end result is love. Beautiful. So what Spirit is saying here is ultimately it's about how you view it yourself. It's not about for example, if it was right set up, the vision that spiritual connection gives about the world, which is could also be that, right? All is well, your highest good is playing out in every single moment, and so on. Spiritual connection does tell us that, but it's much more about what spiritual connection tells you about yourself. When you're a space of spiritual connection, it will always tell you you're empowered, you have solutions, you have options, you have opportunities, you can, yes you can, yes you can, and let's do this, let's do this, let's do that. There's always going to be something proactive, something constructive, something empowering about it, again in alignment with who you truly are. It's your true authentic way to go about living in the world. That's what spiritual connection represents. And then we've got willingness, which is talking about, I love willingness actually as a concept and as an energy, because willingness is this notion that for me, we are sovereign when we're willing to not have something. So for example, we're not attached and we're in our sovereignty when we're willing to go without a certain thing, a certain person. But you can have people who flip their noodle at the supermarket because there's no, I don't know, what was mine? Talking about people. Mine was, I was wanting to make rice porridge. There was no cream. It was this very stressful period in my life, but it was like a 12 category storm. I was so upset. It just undid my entire world because I was not willing to be without it in that moment. And that's where you know that you have attachment. That's where you know that you have something to work on, right? And the thing of it is, what Spirit is saying is that there's both aspects. There's following the spiritual connection, but there's also being aware of any attachments, any blocks, anything that keeps you from following it. And usually that's where you're going to be unwilling. Like, okay, I will listen to my spiritual connection when it comes to maybe my purpose and my mission in the world, but I won't listen when it comes to relationships. I can trust it here, but not there. Then there's something in the there that you need to work on. There's something where it is, there's a more profound reason why you're being unwilling. So let's see what else there is. Maybe Spirit is going to deepen that. No, this one? Okay. Maybe not. We've got ascending the mountain, keep going forward. It's a process. It is a process. You just have to be aware of these two dynamics. There's, yes, Spiritual connection tells me how to live in a truer way in the world. But I don't actually always want to listen. I don't actually always want to know it because I've got my issues, because I've got stuff going on, because maybe I can't handle it this moment, and so on and so forth. It's not going to change the truth of it. You're going to have to keep ascending the mountain. And literally, again, depending on your belief system, you can accept this or not, but you're going to do this lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, because spiritual connection is this, what guides us along on this journey of embodying our full spiritual energy, which would be my definition of enlightenment. But the point is that it's how you're built, it's how you function. Whether it's at a soul level or even in your human body, you're built to be guided by your inner process, by your spiritual connection. And so you are going to, it's going to stay there, and it's going to get louder and louder and louder and louder in life. So you can do it now or later. It's going to be an ongoing process, but you don't have to fix it now. You don't have to ace it now. You don't have to get there now. Just work with it. It's something you work with, and it's something that grows and evolves as we go on in life. It's actually amazing. It's really, really amazing how spiritual connection grows and evolves, and it talks to you in different ways at different times, and it gets louder. And I'm also being shown how it's something that you use in different periods of your life. You use it in parenting, you use it in relationships, you use it at work, and it just works in different ways, especially when other people are involved and there's synergy and all these things. It's just a beautiful, amazing journey. And it's something that can only be beneficial to you. But either way, it's something that's going to be part of the evolution in your life, right? You're either consciously on it or not on it, but you're still evolving it. Even if you're not listening to it through unwillingness, you're still evolving in your relationship to it, right? So you may be unwilling, then you have a couple of experiences and you go, oh, it's because I was unwilling. You're going to learn something from that, and so on and so forth. It's inescapable in the best way possible. It's part of who you are. It's part of who you are. You are spiritually connected. And so, this reading message, well, this is the takeaway. Let's see. Those you love you. And it says, to be beautiful in the eyes of another, simply forget they're watching. Tally ho, the universe. Okay. With regards to spiritual connection, let's get another one. I'm confused. There you go. It is not a straightforward journey. It isn't. You need more pieces. You were born with that it quality. Okay, there we go. Do you want to know what's really beautiful? Confidence. Do you want to know what's really powerful? Persistence. Do you want to know what's really sexy? Please, I know about sexy. Not needing to be needed. And if still they don't notice your good looks, your strength, and your sachet, could you feel more sorry for them? Tally ho, the universe. Okay, now I get it. Those you love you. You were born with this. This is a part of who you are. It's a takeaway from this whole reading. This is a part of who you are and how you function. And when you embody this, you will be guided to the people, the places, the things where that's a match, where you can live this out fully. It could be, a new job where you can be more spiritual connected in how you wait tables, in how you tend to patients, in how you teach children. Whatever it is, you can include it in your life. And what really fits you, what really loves you, the situation, the person that loves you will incorporate your spiritual connection. It's not about you putting it on mute to fit in with anything or anyone. It's really that where you fit in, it's gonna be the loudest. So love, that was your reading. That was so lovely. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you so much love, wishing you all the best. Bless you and your spiritual connection. May you be blessed always and in all ways. And if you enjoyed this reading, please subscribe, because more will be coming. And if you want to know more about me and my work, then check out the description box. It is all laid out there. Thank you so much. Lots and lots of love. Wishing you all the best always. Bye.